Hi everyone, how you doing? Welcome to CDT Online. I hope everyone is well. Um, this lesson we're going to do a flowchart, or you're going to do a flowchart. You're going to do a flowchart for task 2. It's the last slide in task 2 that we skipped when I decided that we were going to fast track the game and work on that last week. So the one slide that you have not covered yet is this flowchart, which is pass criteria for Unit 12. So it's important that we get it done. I'm expecting that everything else in Task 2 has been complete, and I'll be checking those workbooks this lesson. So I've got a couple of slides to help go through what a flowchart is. First of all, let's establish what it's not. It is not a navigation map. So you created a navigation map for Unit 4. You'll remember Unit 4 was interactive media product, so it was more suited for websites. Therefore, there was this requirement to create a navigation map that showed all the screens and what you can get to from each of those screens. Similar to that, but it is not the same. A flowchart describes the sequence of events within a game. So a step-by-step representation visually of what's happening within your game. It's similar to pseudocode. So those of you who do computer science will be familiar with pseudocode. Pseudocode is a sort of English version of a programming language. So a planning tool in the same way a flowchart is, sketching out what you're going to actually code before you get down and start programming. So here we've got a very simple example, very basic example of a loop happening. So while the game isn't over, do all this stuff: process input, process bots, update the game state, determine if you should end. If the game ends, we come out of that loop and we determine whether the game should be saved, save the game, quit, etc. Okay, so we're going to create this flowchart using the standard accepted symbols. So ovals for start and end points, arrows to connect and show relationships, parallelograms for inputs and outputs, rectangles to show processes, diamonds to show decisions. Okay. Here's another example of the game state, the loop state within Pictionary. So very simple. You draw a picture. Have they guessed it? No. We'll keep pointing at it until they guess it. Then they guess it, and you've won. So slightly more complex one here. This is a flowchart a student made a couple of years ago. It's pretty complex, but it shows all of the systems happening within the game and how they actually relate to each other. So for example, we've got the combat system in red, movement in blue, we've got a collision system in yellow. So the combat system, we start off first of all with the oval, then we've got a diamond for this decision about whether to shoot or not. We press shoot, and then we have this loop checking, is the enemy killed? No, we'll keep shooting until the enemy's killed. If the enemy's killed, we come out of that loop and the enemy drops a coin. And this is quite interesting, as the combat system is linked with the collisions. So we've also got a collision with that coin happening and adding 1 to the score. And the collision system is also checking, have we collided with the enemy? We'll take away a life, which is also connected to the health system, checking the health until health becomes 0. So yes, this is fairly complex, but you're going to have some fairly, even though we have these very simple games, you may have fairly complex systems, and it's up to you to decide what are happening within your game. What are the most relevant systems happening within your game? It might be that you have a timer, and presumably you'll have some kind of movement. You may have items that need to be collected. How are they, how does that happen? You may have a combat system, or you may have obstacles that you need to overcome. So think about that. I'm quite happy for you to take each of those systems separately, though. So this previous example has them all connected. But I don't mind if you want to break that down into the systems that are happening within your game and dedicate a flowchart to each one. I've given you a couple of links here. We'll just come out of full screen. So the first link takes you to a set of templates that I was able to edit quite easily and export. So I'm assuming that you will too. If not, we can use draw.io as we've used before. It has flowchart templates. Or if you want to do something more visual, then Canva also has flowchart templates. So if you were thinking about breaking it down into the basic systems happening within your game, Canva might be the way to go. It's up to you. But you will have this lesson to do it. I'd like you to do this lesson, get it completed now, and I will check through your task twos and I'll check your flowcharts at the end of the lesson. Please ask if you have any questions. I'll be online. You can comment on the stream or you can email me and we can discuss it if need be. I'll leave you with something to help if you've ever wondered whether you are actually a horse.